Welcome back to another small review of games made in gamemaker studio, or just gamemaker, because this is one of the older titles, so this is definitely one of those gamemaker 8 or the old studio, I'm not sure. So this is Risk of Rain, a really cool pixel art roguelite, and yeah, as you can see, the menu is quite small, so this is one of the things which I wanted to show you at the very start. Of course, we can change that quite fast. That was made by two students from Washington, Duncan Rummond and Paul Morse, and that game is 2013, so this is like 6 years old. And let's go for single player, and here you can, oh Jesus, that is really small. Then you have a roster of playable characters. Let's go for the sniper. And let's go for play. As you can see, this is quite small. And now here comes the trick question. Find the player. The interesting part is this is 1920 by 1080. So that is already upscaled by 1. And I'm already getting attacked. So if you haven't found the player, bottom right corner. But of course we can change that and make it a little bit more big or bigger, and graphics high, yay. And as you can see, we can actually upscale it a lot, and then of course now you see a little bit more of the action. But the point is, the things which you're seeing on the screen are not that kind of important. And for example, this guy has like all the characters, which is kind of neat for regular abilities. Come on, how does that work? Okay, that one is one of the more useless ones in my opinion. That's why we completely kick this guy, because I don't want it. Let's go for a character which is actually useful. Bandit, sniper, engineer. Engineer is good. This guy is really good. I like this guy because throwing grenades. So basically he has 4 standard attacks with some relative cooldowns. So the first one is a standard attack all the time, then I can, I don't know, lay some mines, then I can make this homing thing here, and then I can put some turrets, which is this violet thing near to me. And then what you do in this game, you basically just go from level to level and you collect lots of money, and with that money you can unlock passive skills. And during that time, well, you gotta shred some monsters or whatever is there on the screen, and they are getting spawned randomly. As you can see, you see their HP and their well, how much damage you deal. And of course, if they hit you, you get the, as you can see, bam, violet something, and this is how much damage they deal to me. And the game has a level system, which is kind of rudimentary, but it's good enough. And as you can see here, here's one of the things, a chest, and we instantly get killing enemy. Yeah, this is a good upgrade. And basically this is what you do. And then there are those shrines, and if you activate them, then one of those bosses, which are gonna get recycled very fast in this game, are coming. So if you're thinking, okay, so what's so special about that? Well, this game is a dream if you have some high power fantasies, like, I don't know, let's say being a super saiyan or whatever, because that game fulfills that. For now, it doesn't really look like it, but at some point the game becomes so ridiculous concerning the power play you are having here. You just become from this little tiny, I don't know, maybe 8 pixel guy to an unstoppable killing and destruction machine in, let's say, 20 to 25 minutes. And at that point, you're just basically like killing everything left and right. And as you can see on the left side here, you will get some passive things which are shown. And here you have your player level, and then your 4 abilities, and then 1 super, which is choosable. So one of those chests, you maybe find something like this. So this is kind of nice. And then, well, this is the game. And then you will get at some point, here we go, sweet, to one of those shrines, and you can activate it from the start, which is a really stupid idea, but you can do that if you like. And then we get, push over enemy. This is good. So this is the boss here, and It's pretty sweet and easy. Let's not get killed here. And then after you kill him, then, well, you have to survive some time. It just says stays alive for 90 seconds. And in those 90 seconds, well, more enemies are getting spawned. And you go just here and kill everything again and again and again. This is basically just what you do. Well, if you want to have a deep story with some intricate plot points and character design and some great dialogue options, well, you're completely wrong. This game has none. This plot is as shallow as can be. You are on a spaceship. It gets like crashed by some guy with a big sword. If it is a sword, because that sub is so pixely, I'm not sure about that. And yeah, you in the end kill this guy. End of story. And then in that time you are having lots of fun killing more and more and more and more of those pixelated monsters, because as you can see, this game is quite minimalistic. That's not the thing, it's not too bad, and in my opinion it has some, basically it's just a power fantasy. If you like this kind of stuff, being a destruction god, you're gonna love this game. Of course, just so you know, there are some things which I'm gonna talk about in the second section, so the technical stuff, which is maybe some stuff is not too good in my opinion, but the approach is sweet and you will have lots of fun. There have been some speedruns to this and the characters are really distinct, so basically you're gonna have some fun with that game anywhere, and you can pick it up for some bucks. It's so cheap now. It's really good and it's sold really great. It has great reception in the Steam community, so basically if you're just seeing, it never crashed on me. The performance is pretty sweet, even though after you're having, like, as you can see, I'm having one of those drones flying with me, so you're having like 10 or 15 of those and you're firing like 15 bazillion of bazookas and things are flying around and everything is like getting a mess. Still, that thing runs smoothly, and that's why it's not the worst idea to make it. And let's go into audio video, scale it up, let's go for double. And even though it's quite small, at some point it doesn't really matter, because you're getting spammed with enemies which are gonna come randomly near to you and they can teleport and stuff. So this is a thing which you have to expect. So if you like this kind of game, maybe you are getting shocked because the pixel art isn't too great, but in the end it doesn't really matter. The fun part is just about the megalomania, the havoc which you're causing here, and the random loot, which is kind of nice, and lots of what the hell am I? I'm here. Lots of random stuff, which is just making you an unstoppable killing machine. So this is the first part. Let's go to the second part. This is more for developers. So this was the review. It's a good game. You will like it. You will definitely enjoy it, like most people did. So it's a cool, fun game for 5 minutes to a few hours, depending how long you wanna upgrade this little guy to a beast. So basically what you are seeing here is true pixel art. So if we go into, let's say, audio and video, and I zoom it again to this pixel thing, as you can see there, this is actually almost 1-to-1 ratio, and this is so small because my monitor is like 2500 by 1045. So basically this should be a 1-to-1 or basically a 2-to-1 scaling. I guess it's a 2-to-1 because the maximum, as you've seen in the menu, is it's half of that which I already have as a monitor. And as you can see, the game is graphically not a beast. It is quite minimalistic, but that approach isn't the worst kind of thing, because it gives you lots of fun stuff which is concerning the gameplay. And maybe you can see this is the highest thing we can achieve. Let's go back, and as you can see, not so many options you're gonna have. Just show your damage numbers, or I don't know if you want to reduce your volume, which is, I think, a good standard. You should have that always too. And then a very, very minimalistic, how much do you want to zoom? And if you want to have a full screen and not. And then of course you can unlock stuff and so on and so on. Yeah. Bye. And as you can see, maybe let's go for a bigger zoom because this isn't the best idea. As you can see, you have your character classes, and this is a thing which is being done nicely. For example, you click on one of those guys here and then you see what they do. These 4 abilities are quite easy, and for beginners I would definitely recommend for the easiest difficulty, because you're thinking, I want to start with normal, always hard, and the game will punish you very fast for that. So you can unlock stuff here, even though it says progress is not safe in this mode, which I have no idea what that means, because you can even play in the lowest difficulty and still you can unlock all your characters there. So maybe a few ones can be just unlocked in the higher one, but here, as you can see, all these been unlocked in the normal, or this guy here. So this is good. And then of course here you can have, which is kind of interesting, so if you want to spice up your runs, because this is what you do, you just die and then everything is getting reset, then you can say, hey, I want to have this, or maybe only one enemy type spawns at a stage, or enemy explode, and you can mix and match and customize some runs. And I've seen some really crazy stuff where people didn't use their abilities and just used some passive stuff, which is okay, and on the highest difficulty. So this is interesting. So this is how people can do more of your game than let's play it once and then throw it away because it's boring. This game is an evergreen. You can always jump in, play around, and then trash it, and then come back in a month, and then you're gonna have some fun, and maybe with some other characters. So this is good, which I really recommend. So this is a thing which developers can, well, copy, because the approach here is very, very easy. As you can see, you just pick one of those characters, you have a little animation, bam, then you see what you get. This is how it works. Amazingly sweet. And let's go, what do we have? Item log, and here, as you can see, all this stuff very neatly, and then you can click on it and open, and then you get, I don't know, the stuff you unlocked and so on. And as you can see, I haven't unlocked everything, but most of that stuff, and die 50 times, so yeah. So lots of stuff you can unlock, and these are just the items you can collect, which is cool, but most things are quite boring upgrades. And this is, in my opinion, not a bad thing, but a very good thing, because the last game I reviewed was Cave Blazers, and those upgrades are really, really distinct, and I really like them. But in a game where everything is just combat, some of them are more useful, and some are completely, in my opinion, useless, and they can ruin your run, because you're pretty much limited to I don't know, maybe 20 to 30 upgrades maximum, and then you're pretty much done. For Cave Blazers, or even less. You get, I don't know, this, for example, this is a, what does that do? It just, well, does your health regeneration and upgrades it, and they stack, and this is really, really sweet stuff. So basically, every time you collect one of those, you know, those upgrades are most of the time making you an unstoppable killing machine. And this is a great thing which you can copy, because those things may be on paper extremely boring, but they're quite efficient concerning how your game will play out, and then you will just become stronger and stronger and stronger, and to ridiculous levels, which I'm not going to spoil you because you have to see it for yourself. This is just magnificent. So this is a good approach, even though you can spice it up with some more exotic things. For example, I don't know, some things are kind of interesting, and let's say which one was good, which one I really liked, to spice it up. For example, this thing, which is a super, you use it because it says use, and then you spawn some rockets which are just flying up, and then they're home to some enemies or some other stuff which is just spicing it up. But everything is focused very tightly on combat and regeneration, and giving you more durability or more combat abilities. And this is basically it. There are no, like for example, magnetism things which you see in Cave Blazers or some electrocute stuff. This stuff is everything which is melee or like close combat stuff, ranged combat stuff, and then some perks like, I don't know, spawning ghosts or giving you double damage chances, or that the animal will bleed, or that you get teleport. No, for example, you get, let's say, where was that, rocket jump, which I kind of really like, and so on. So it's not too wild. Or for example, this tooth was really great. It just gives you after a kill health back. So these things are very essential, and this is a thing which I really like, and you should copy that for your game. And now we come to one of those, well, let's say not so interesting parts, and as you can see on the screen, this is a mess. This is an absolute mess, and that's why you have some character classes at the very start which are melee focused, or the one thing which I showed you at the very start, the sniper. Completely cool concept, but absolutely useless because you're getting so spammed with enemies that tactical ranged combat is not really possible. It is possible, but the games makes it as hard as possible, and it rewards simple mechanics which are just stay there, spam your abilities and try to survive, because everything else is kind of impossible because some enemies are just too fast and it makes no sense running away from them and doing some trick shots and stuff. This doesn't work. That's why characters like, which I showed you, the guy with the engineer, is one of the most popular ones because he's just effective. The other ones are cool in concept but hard to play at the later stages, which just punish tactical gameplay. So hopefully that was of interest to you. So you see this game has some quirks and some issues, but still it's a fun ride, and I hardly can only recommend it, so you can check it out. So that was it. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Have a good one. Wanna Bindi.